Right. Blurry background. Background features. There we go.
Hello.
No, finally, we did it. We made it.
Today is Saturday, October the 30th, 2021. Welcome to Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. Again, I am your host, Sunshine. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Spotify. My Facebook's page, Sunshine Camila, Kamela. We are live on Mixcloud, Twitch. There's one more I can never remember them all. But however, if you have not subscribed, please like and share the video. Today, finally, we have made it again, I believe, in 6 degrees of separation. You're one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. It has been proven since I've been doing this almost a year in December. Today, we have finally connected with Jason Clayborn. Now, we've been trying to do this for how long now?
It's been a little bit. You know what? But it's divine timing. Perfect
timing. Yes, absolutely. We kept missing each other, but however, as God say, we want to do and schedule our own timing. But God said, nope, not now, not then, but today, October 30th, we are finally here. About to have the best conversation that we could ever have. So how you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a good year, and I'm grateful for everything that God is doing in my ministry, my life, and it's been cool. And today's a good day. I know the weather is changing. I love this weather. So people are like, oh, it's getting cold, and I was like, no, it's gonna break out your jackets and your sweaters and your hoodies. So it's a great day.
Yeah, I'm here in Detroit yesterday. The day before I had been doing a lot of off and on raining. Today it's pretty nice. And so definitely we know that the season has changed, not changing, has changed.
Right.
It is definitely getting cold. So it's definitely time to, break out a heavier coat. I'm not looking forward to the snow yet, but
no, not me.
Fall time. So I usually tell people how I know the person that I have on the show. I have some type of relationship with, or somebody recommended them to me, and I actually saw you on your Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, who is this?" And at the time, I want to say it was around an award time. I want to say, was it the Stellars?
The Stellars, yes.
And so a lot of times that's how I find my guests on social media if they don't, a person don't recommend them or I don't know them myself. And it was that time that I was like, okay, let me see if he's available. And it was at the point of being a part of the show. Were you guys nominated?
So we weren't nominated. We were in consideration. Now, me as a songwriter, I've been nominated 10 plus times. And so it was interesting moving. I got signed right before the pandemic. And so it was funny because God was like, God, what are you doing? Like, finally give me my opportunity to, flourish and people to connect all of the songs that I've written over the years to my name and to my ministry. So signed right before the pandemic and everything stopped. And so we had to kind of reshift and figure out ways to promote music and without going out to being able to minister.
Right.
And so we dropped the album, and we dropped about 3 or 4 singles during the pandemic, and they were doing really well. But people were still, like, wow, we want, we're getting to know him as an artist, we know him as a writer. But so we were getting ready to go on vacation, and I knew that we didn't have the nomination, so I was just going to enjoy the awards. And I got the call from Ty Scott. Don Jackson was like, "Hey, I saw the video to You're All I Need. Can they open up the show?" And I was just like, yes. So they was like, "Can you get in contact with Bishop?" I was like, "Yeah." And what's funny is the weekend we were on our way to Florida, Orlando. And when I called him, he was on a flight on his way to Orlando.
Wow.
So it was like, I was like, God, what? Of course he has a house in Orlando, but I was just like, wow, the timing was perfect. And it reminded me of when, Jesus was asleep on the boat, and the disciples was tripping in the storm. They was tripping. They was like, man, what's going on? Like, Father, thou carest not about us if we perish, and he was chilling, but the fact that he was chilling, understanding that he knew where God was and that God has him, it kind of put me in that mindset of understanding through the process of however God wants to elevate you. He got you. You just do what you can and let him do the rest. A lot of times we want to do what we can and then do what he's supposed to do at the same time.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. So that's how that happened. And my songs have been a blueprint of a lot of people's lives for the last 10, 15 years. And now people are finally saying, yo, you wrote that? Yo, that was you? So it's been interesting and fun at the same time.
So I always ask, the artists that I have on, when it comes to songwriting, are your songs based off experiences that you had or like conversations with people? How does your songwriting come?
It's different facets. A lot of it is experiences that I've had or people that are around me, things that I've seen that have happened. And it comes to me in spurts of, droves. It could be at one moment 15 to 20 songs within a month and a half, and then the next stuff that I write will be just sporadically. But people are like, man, you got songs. I'm like, well, this was years of storing up your barnyard. So people say, man, what do you do? When you're waiting on your moment, you can't just wait on the moment, because when the moment comes, will you be ready for that moment? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a part of independent, going from being independent 4 albums independent to being nationally signed on my 5th album. It's incredible, watching the bond of how God is pulling everything together. And then everything that he taught me along the journey, a lot of people don't know I was singing background for his. So when, in the last 10 to 12 years, when you see Bishop standing behind him, I'm one of the tenors. If you went to, I was traveling with Dr. Ron Canoli overseas for years as well. So there was a lot of preparation, and God was allowing me to sit up under what the new generation calls GOATs, greatest of all time, but the lineage of the consistency of their ministry is still ongoing. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they were one-hit wonders and then it was boom, they stopped. It was the longevity of what their ministries have been and the integrity behind it. And God was allowing me to be a part of that, not because of the names, but to learn.
And also, most of them have many facets to them, like most of us do. We multifaceted with being a recording artist, still ministering the word of God, being whatever title minister. And that takes a lot. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of prayer. It takes a lot of fasting, consecration, yes. All of these things, because at the end of the day, we know we have been handpicked. Come on, somebody. We have been chosen to do have to do? No. Do we want to go through the tests and trials that we have to go through to get to the level we have to go to? No.
Who does? I think when we read the word, we forget those parts of the test, the testimony. The test part, I think we don't pay attention to. Like Moses, he was sent to the wilderness for 40 years, not 40 days, 40 years. That was a long time. And not until he was 80, he went back and then helped get, the people delivered. It was time. And so what does that time look like to us and God? So does it, a day to us could be a year to him. A year to us could be a day to him. Do we know what that looks like? And then in the process, I think that's the problem with everybody. They want the success, but they don't want to go through the process. And so the longevity of where you are, I feel like it won't last if you push the process out of the way just to get to the palace.
That is, I believe that.
Yeah.
We just came through a revival.
Yeah.
My God, today. And when I say it was much needed, I didn't even realize how much I needed this. But it was like, okay, God, you put me back on track. You recharged me. And now I have to do exactly what you called me to do. I'm not just here just to look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Right.
just here on one thing. It's multiple things that God has given to me that I need to do. And time is winding up. I do
Yeah.
not want to be the ones that he came back and was like, I gave you this talent and you just buried it. You didn't do nothing.
So
And
so
no.
and so that's me in a nutshell. I mean, if you could say it, you know, I made myself like this ain't just props. This is me sewing into myself and learning other things about myself that I didn't think that I could do on my own. Which then later on down the line, it started to make room, as the word says, your gift will make room. It should say gifts with an S, because you start realizing other things and really utilizing the tools that are out there, like YouTube. When YouTube first started, I didn't know how to run Pro Tools, so my brother was like, "Here, I'm gonna show you the basics." And then I learned the rest, and then that made me go get a MacBook, go get a interface, buy mics, and learn how to become basically an engineer. So a self-taught engineer, which made it easier for me to get in the studio and record demos. So people are like, man, how are you fleshing out the demos so quick? I don't have to go to the studio, unless I'm taking my choir or something. But I've done sessions in my house with 3 singers, and independent artists have paid me to pay them and pay myself, and it created a whole nother stream of income. As TD Jake said, you want to have multiple streams. And finding that out about myself, a lot of artists is like, man, how do you? I said, listen, you just got to take time out, and study. And it doesn't take much once you learn the basics. I haven't learned the fullness of mixing and mastering, but I can do a rough mix, to get my music out to those that I'm trying to shop material to.
Absolutely. And so in researching, I also saw that your group is called the Atmosphere Changers.
Yes.
So how did you come up with that?
So let me tell you what's crazy. The Atmosphere Changers started, the remnant of them that I have now, majority of them started in my youth choir at my church. So I've been the worship director and one of the choir directors at my church for, this is the 17th year that I've been at the St. Stephen Baptist Church. Shout out to my church and all of my pastor, Reverend Dr. Kevin Cosby, and everybody. I had 200 young people in my youth choir on a fourth Sunday for almost 12 years straight. I'm talking about singing, dancing. I probably was one of the only choirs that had a dance crew in front of 100 and something young people on a Sunday morning, dressing them in different attire to fit with the themes that I would come up with. They were called the Voices of Praise. Then we changed the name to the Sound and a couple of other names. But a lot of the artists that are up and coming now, like Kevin Lemons and Jonell Nichols, and a lot of them, we were singing their songs. And when YouTube started getting bigger, a lot of our videos of those songs would be the first videos that pop up. And it would be me in front of this youth choir. A lot of people didn't know that, back in the day. So that's where the remnant of the Atmosphere Changers came from after a lot of them. I've been knowing them since they were 11 and 12. So they grew up, of course, and went to college, and some are married now, have kids, and all of that. So I kept the remnant of them together as the choir disseminated into, because of life. And they would always change the room when they would go in the room. So everywhere I took them, regardless of what state or wherever I would take them, they would come in. We would be on stage with mega choirs, and they would be like, "Who's this little church choir?" And we would come in and flip the room. And I'm like, "Man, y'all always change the atmosphere of every room." Not knowing that years later that would be the name that I would pick for them.
Wow. Yeah, that caught my eye, and I'm like, okay, so usually when you put out a statement,
yeah,
it's not only eye-catching, it's easy on the mouth and things of that nature. But when you say atmosphere changer, this is what you expect to happen every time you say this. So as Jason Clayborn and the Atmosphere Changers, I'm automatically looking to hear, not only hear, see, feel that the atmosphere has changed. And I want to say, not daydreaming, but the Lord was actually talking to me earlier that even though I know I got healed this weekend, I know I did for a fact. And it's a difference with seeing it on Zoom, seeing it on a podcast, seeing it on YouTube and things of that nature. But when you in the atmosphere, you expect something to happen. You expect it. And so it's like now I'm sitting here listening and talking to the man that understands fully firsthand that what God can do in an atmosphere if you let him.
So, and this is the key to that. The atmosphere only changes with the relationship. And so what I've taught them for years, even what my mom taught me, my grandmother taught me, the relationship building with God is very, very important. So it's not necessarily the gift that changes the room. It's the relationship attached to the gift. So when people see me, if I'm standing up and singing at a funeral and it's just me, and the room shifts from grief to joy and praise, it's because of the relationship that I have with God. That's what shifts the atmosphere. It's the anointing. It's the anointing on my life and the time that I've spent with God on my own outside of church, which allows the atmosphere to change. So that's been embedded in the young adults' mind that I've had the opportunity to lead for years now. And I've always told them, I'm not just concerned about your gift, I'm concerned about your life. And this is a lifestyle thing. It's not just saying, I'm a Christian. No, it's a part of your life. It's a part of the DNA of who you are made up to be. So when you have that strain in you, you have that God strain in you, it's going to manifest.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up. Again, a lot of our, we were learning, in the Corinthians and then Ephesians about the gifts that God had left back for us, for the body of Christ. And sometimes, like he said, the gifts come with repentance. I mean, he's not going to take them back. We know that people in the industry are gifted and talented for sure, but they're not living it. They're not talking, there's a conversation that we need to be hearing. We need
right.
And so with that being said, the relationship with God is everything. We always want to put God in a box in this little old corner. God, I'm gonna give you this part of me, but God want all of you.
All of
He's multitasking, so why wouldn't you be?
if he's omniscient and he's everywhere, um, uh, what is that? I mean, we can't do that or be that, but you have to understand and learn how to tap into those gifts and cultivate those gifts so that you can learn how to move with any type of room that you go into. So yeah, you might have this all planned out. I've done it before where I've had a whole list of songs planned out and the room shifts. And do I do what I'm planned to do? Or do I mix around my list to make it fit with the flow of the atmosphere?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you have to be mentally sensitive. You have to be sensitive to that. And then even when I've had people that were traveling with me, it's like, why are we flipping this? And I'm like, listen, this is where we need to go with the way this atmosphere is moving. And so that's an important part of ministry is being able to flow with where the room is going. I can sit in a room, I'll be like, man, that was it. They missed it. And then what they thought was the move was emotional. And the move that God was trying to move in this moment, they missed that part because of just the typical wanting to be churchy in that moment instead of moving with the flow. I'm like, that's where the oil was. And I've had prophets speak over my life and for years and have told me, learn the flow of worship so that you can learn how to move in that moment.
Mm-hmm. And that's also true. I have been learning over the years about flowing with the man of God, the woman of God, going forth as a Levite, um, and taking the people where you've been with God and what, like you said, the atmosphere needs. There's people who come to your job who needs the atmosphere to be changed. I work at a clinic, and you see people sick every day, all day, and you're just while you registering them in, you checking them in, you praying, God touch them.
Mm-hmm.
From mental on physically, God touch them. I know I was there for a reason. I'm not just there to just do my regular job. No, the atmosphere has to change. And
Yeah.
so I believe God, this is the season that, you speak a thing, shouldn't you be looking for it? Don't you know God gonna do it?
Come on. You have to know and you have to have that posture of I tell people through this pandemic there should be three things that you should have done in this pandemic. And if you didn't do it, you need to recheck yourself. First of all, understand that get back to God and that He's in control of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to your family, repair relationships, and then find something new about yourself that you didn't know that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those three things are, prevalent in this time of trying to figure out. Everybody's scrambling. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? What we gonna do? God says, sit down and let me show you and let me trust me. Basically, trust me and know that I have everything in my hands. And then repair the relationship. Even with him, I took that time like, hey, God, you know what? Man, I got caught up in wanting to be successful and wanting things to work because I thought that this was the moment. And he was still like, I'm in control. Like, you can do whatever you feel you want to do. But then when it's time for me to move in this season for you, I'm going to move. And then so I put myself in and expecting, okay, well, if I do this, I'm expecting you to do this, God. I know you can. I know you can. And I know you've done it and you've shown me over and over again. So I had to go back and remember too in this time. Look at everything that you've done for me over these years. Wait a minute. My bad. Thank you. You know what I mean? I got to go back some years. 2008, 2000, I forgot. Thank you. 2012, 2013. Oh, I remember when you did that. Thank you. Oh, 2006. You took me to London. You let me go to Ireland and Amsterdam and places that I've never been in my life. And I never paid a penny out of my pocket. Thank you. So I owed him some back praise. Not that I forgot about it, but I had to remember and still keep myself in the posture of saying, you know what, God, wow, this has been an amazing journey. Thank you. And then for him to flip it and then say, okay, now it's time for you to get on that big stage. I was just like, wow, you real tough, the way he does what he does.
And especially being the opener to the Stellars. I mean, that is one of the greatest stages for gospel artists is the Stellar Awards. Not only you have the people in the arena that, you know, you might look up to, you didn't roll elbows with, but then you got the millions of viewers that's watching who never heard you before. Not only did they remind the people who knew you, now you got a whole new fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Income.
Come on, you know what I mean? And that's the way God moves and what he does. Like you gotta be, and when I hit that stage, it was funny because it was friends of mine that are, you know, top people in the industry now, and you know, in the new phase of artists. And I was like, Jay, I couldn't believe. They was like, yo, you opening the awards. Anthony Brown looked up at me. He was like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I mean, because I was there when Anthony got his first deal. And I was like, Dad, God, what do you mean you forgot about me? I was there. James Fortune opened up for me in 2002 in Houston, Texas, before everybody knew who James Fortune was. You know, when I was with the Righteous Riders. And James was like, bro, I'm proud of you. You know, just why. And then the regime of the old heads that are in the industry was all on the front row. And I'm like, and God was like, just own it. This is what you were created to do. And I put you here. Go. And so I did it. And people were just like, man, y'all, I did an excellent job. And I was like, well, you know, and then so now we're in the moment of, okay, God, whatever you do next, we trust you. You know, and that's how you have to move.
Absolutely. I think of the bigger picture of out of, I don't even know what the number is of gospel artists they could have chose.
And this is the crazy thing. I'm a new artist. I'm not new, you know, as an artist, you know, but in the gospel world and you know, as a signed artist, I'm new. So everybody, you know, it was so many different, you know, people in that room that knew me as a songwriter. So for them, a lot of people was like, dude, you can sing too? I remember Jonathan McReynolds was just like, man, you are underrated, bro. You know, Mallard Music, all of them was like, man, let's go. You know, so, you know, they finally get to see the other part, like you said earlier, of who Jason Clayborn is. So they heard me as the writer and the producer. Now they got to see me as the minister of song through my voice, you know, and through the words that God has given me on the inside. So it was incredible.
That was my next question. How did you feel being in that type of atmosphere, you know, as an artist or someone that you're looking to be at the top of whatever you do, and to be called in and you look in this room and see people you look up to, people you have written for, people that are new and up and coming. And then at the top, you looking at fans and you like, God, take the nerves away, take this away.
Oh, but man.
To stand up. And when we open our mouth,
I need you to do your thing. And he did that because I was super nervous. I mean, who wouldn't be being a new artist?
Right.
And for now, them a room, the first Stellars back in person, for you not just to be on it, but to be the opener as a new artist is a whole nother nerve. I kind of had to block it all out and just do what I'm called to do on a regular basis on a Sunday morning with 10,000 people and watching, or 10,000. I just said, I'm gonna just lead worship. I'm gonna lead like you called me to do, and how you do, and have fun, put a smile on my face, dance, have a good time like I always do. And he showed up like he always does. And it's interesting because the nomination things, it's cool and it's fun, but I've been nominated for every award as a writer before an artist. So, I'm not looking for the accolades. When they come, I'm grateful for them because, of course, they'll come as you become successful and things happen. But, I have awards on my wall and things already. I was nominated for a Grammy already. I've been nominated I won a Dove Award. I've been nominated for 10 plus Stellars. And there's not an award, Soul Train, Billboard, everything that I've been nominated for as a writer. So when I came in, it's just like, here I get to be and do me as an artist. And if those things come, I'm grateful. If they don't, I already got them. So it's no, it was different moments playing in my mind, where I thankful moments where I was like, dang God. And then you let me open up with who taught me the industry, Bishop Hezekiah Walker. And then you let me open up with one of my brothers who I've seen grind his way up, JJ Harrison. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a surreal moment. And I'm looking for more moments like that in my ministry and whatever God wants to do.
So I always ask this question, what is something that your fans or people might not know about you? Like you might not like peas or something, or something you really like to do, or something you don't like?
I watch cartoons a whole lot. I don't think
like cartoons.
I love cartoons.
Okay.
Like a lot of people will be like, "What?" I'm an avid cartoon watcher. Like, if I'm sitting down in the morning eating a bowl of cereal, I'm like a little kid. I turn on Looney Tunes, I watch it. I'm an avid watcher. I love movies. And I like to bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm actually pretty all right in bowling.
So what's your average?
160, 170-ish.
Okay.
I ain't top two something yet.
So you walking through the bowling alley with your own ball and shoes?
Sure, yes. That? Yes, I got 2 balls, shoes, all that. I actually invested. People are probably going to trip. I went and got my fingers fitted for my ball so I can learn to spin and all that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, bowling is cool. I have an auntie and uncle who are have done bowling for so long. They're in leagues, and
that stuff
nothing
is,
like going
serious.
down there and see trophies, and they done hit 300 several times, and they real serious.
Yes, I ain't that serious with it. It's just good fun pastime for me.
Yeah, bowling, between bowling and swimming has been the thing for me over, course of years. Of course, basketball.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good. Cartoons, yes. I think it was like when we were kids. I'm sure you probably older than me, I think.
How you don't never ask women her age though, so I'm not going to do that.
If you are you over 50?
No.
You close to 50?
Nope.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me I'm older than you. Oh, okay, what's your
I just,
race?
I just turned 40. I just turned 40, May the 30th. I was born in
Uh-uh.
1981. Yeah, I just turned 40.
No.
Yeah.
Now I'm mad because I'm older than you. Only 3 years though. Only three.
Okay.
Only 3 years. But sitting on the couch on a Saturday, pretty much was half the day on a Saturday was definitely cartoons. Half a day's cartoons. Some of these cartoons, I have to say, I'm sorry for all of your artists who does cartoons. Some of the cartoons now,
They're getting out of hand.
I have no clue, no idea. It's not even funny or entertaining. And I'm like, what are y'all watching? So
Yeah, man, I'm an old school cartoon guy. Give me a Tom and Jerry or Looney Tunes or some old school. Now I do like the Fairly Odd Parents and a couple of other ones. But you cannot have a cartoon without a good bowl of cereal. So I mean, I'm a cereal variety cereal buyer.
so what's one of your favorite cereals?
Golden Grams,
Oh, good one.
um, Captain Crunch, of course, Crunch
The
Berries.
berries.
With the berries,
Okay.
it ain't. You can't if you're not eating Captain Crunch Berries. And then you know what? I have a particular taste for like a frosted mini wheat.
Ooh.
I know it's crazy, ain't it? But I like a healthy cereal every once in a while. Give me a Raisin Bran Crunch.
Ooh.
And but then I like a sugar cereal, like a honeycombs.
Now, honeycombs I could do in Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, I can do honey. My son, he likes Lucky Charms. I don't like all the marshmallows.
I
It's too
don't.
many.
Yeah, I can't.
They done overloaded it with marshmallows now. So I don't, it's too much.
I never liked marshmallows in my cereal ever.
But I'm a mood cereal guy. So Apple Jacks, Fruit Loops. It just depends on my mood.
Okay.
And I could eat a bowl of cereal any time of the day.
Me too. Definitely. I kind of cut back a little bit. But I was definitely and I was always on the go.
Yeah.
Especially during college days. So I was always on the go. So first thing you're gonna grab is cereal. I don't got time to cook. So it was always cereal and ramen noodles. That was it.
Oh my God. I've eaten those probably every way you can eat them.
Wow. So how are you as and I asked this question to the many facet of us, how are you as the son, the father, you're married?
Mm-hmm.
The husband, how are you as in your opinion?
Great. My son's running around now. I've become an incredible father. To my real father wasn't in my life. My brothers and sisters, there's 6 of us. I'm the oldest. Their dad raised me since I was 3. So I had to learn watching from different families to how to be a father. So, but I wouldn't change my journey for the world. My wife has helped me become a great father as well. Especially to my daughter. My daughter's in college now. It's crazy. She's first semester at University of Kentucky as a theater major.
Okay.
But I'm a great father, and I think that's first before everything else. I had to learn how to do that.
Yes.
And same thing as a husband. What I'm saying? Learning how to become a husband and do it with it's a process. So, I'm going from being a bachelor at home, having your own crib with your underwear behind the door, all of that. I had to learn. My wife don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And the different things that she likes and how to do what, and then vice versa. So of course it's two ways to it, but it's been a process and a learning process for me, and I'm grateful for it. It's helped me become better.
With marriage is trial and error, just like parenting. And you have moments where we could talk, and then there's moments like, I'm gonna give you a minute, and then we'll come back and have a talk.
Most definitely.
And so it's great to go through the process together and have your first. What I mean by that, the first time you might go out the country together, the first time you go to something that you've never done before with anyone else.
Right.
And I think God knows your heart and what, lights you up, that makes you smile, that makes you be like, man, it was well worth the wait.
And you know what's crazy? Me and my wife, before we got married, we traveled the world together before we were married, because she sings.
Okay.
You can hear her on every album that I've done except for my solo album. But she's led a song on every album, from my first album to my fourth album. She's led a song, and she's on the front cover of the album and all of that. So she's been a part of my ministry for years, and mad respect to her for doing that. And then also getting the moment to where you have to say, hey, what does she want to do? You don't have to do what I do, and be comfortable with that, and moving in that. So there's different levels in that when you're learning and growing as a person, as a man, and learning, how to be a father, learning how to be a husband, all of that. But you have to enjoy those journeys as a part of your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Atmosphere Changer, that ministry with youth will also make you stay young, but they're also always watching, from the personal to your mistakes to doing what you're doing.
They all seen it. So they've seen me go from being single to being married. And they've seen me go from, watching me as a single father at the time, take care of my daughter. They watched me because I brought her around the choir and everything, and they watched her grow up, from me getting married and them being in the, they've seen it. So I had to be a model to them as well. Even if they still, didn't go in the way that I tried to show them, at least they had some type of model. And I've always tried to do that. And I've been a father, an uncle, a big brother, all of that figure to, the Atmosphere Chambers and choirs and groups that I've been over. And I still work with young people and young adults on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Sometimes we want to take as they say, a sabbatical or a moment to ourselves. There's no such thing. I went from having a house full of kids, not that I have a child myself, still working on that, but I've had them from all ages, from being a youth director, until I had to realize I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to be a minister to children, to teenagers. Definitely. Especially. And if you don't, as I say, if you don't have the village, it makes it difficult. Not that it's impossible to do, but it makes it difficult when you don't have the whole circle with you.
Well, one thing that has been the last couple of weeks that has happened to me that has been the most joy is one or two of them coming back to me and saying, Jason, everything you have told us for the last 15 years and that you've spoken to us over our lives, you didn't lie about one thing. Everything. From going from being a church choir to being a national recording choir, they was just like, man, everything that you have said. Even my drummer texted me. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday, he texted me. He said, "Yo, being with you in ministry with Voices of Praise was a lifestyle." And I was like, wow, I never looked at it like that, but it was. It was. And then there's people that have been in that choir with me. And then I've been a part of conventions. I'm a part of the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses, the Thomas Dorsey Convention. That people that have gone on that have been successful in hip hop, in R&B. There's DJs. There's a DJ that's huge that used to be in my choir that travels with major rappers now. And I mean, it's just incredible. There's a rapper named Smino that is blowing up, you know. And then also too, you know, my choir, we're on one of the top rappers' albums right now. His name is Jack Harlow. We're on his album, you know, we're featuring Adam Levine. So it's, you never know how God is going to do what he's going to do and the way he's going to do it. You just have to be in position and trust him, and then work like the Bible said, wise day, you know, work and be prepared and prepare yourself, you know, spiritually and mentally for these moments.
Okay, let me ask you this. This is me personally. Because you know, you have some people who, because you know, God gave you the gift is for the body of Christ, is for, you know, you just singing this and that's it. So how do you do stepping out of the four walls of the church to do whatever ministry you have to do?
You got to be the light. You know, that's what the word says, when you light in dark places. We wasn't singing about God on the album, but what's funny is all of the producers and band members that played on the record said when they got the choir, when they got the choir back from us from the studio, that it lit the room up. Like it changed the atmosphere of the room, and we weren't even there. They said everybody was happy, everybody was joyous, everybody was having a good time, and everything before that was dark. You know what I mean? But when they heard the choir, everybody jumped up and was, you know, smiling and having a good time. And we weren't even singing about Jesus, but the light and the presence of God was still on it. So it's how you conduct yourselves in those moments, and people are watching you to see if you're going to be and walk the walk and talk the talk. So I think you just have to understand that. And then Jesus he was at the club, he was at the parties, but he didn't change who he was. You know, it didn't change who he was. It didn't change who you know, he turned that water into wine when they ran out of wine. I mean, it didn't change the persona of who he was as who they called him, Jesus the Christ, you know? And so I just think you have to learn how to be that light in that dark place.
When I think about it, if you're part of the fold, if you're part of God's children, we all are his children, and he all want us to be saved. He all want us, you know, to make it to heaven. And he'll be like, I need Jason to go to Miami. Miami? What's in Miami? Well, Jason, you'll find out when you get there. I just need you to go. Tell me yes. Go to Miami. Okay, I'm here in Miami. Now, the Bible always tells us when he sends the prophet or anyone like that, he didn't already prepared it. You just gotta go. It wasn't about no money. It wasn't about all of that. It wasn't for no honorarium. Come on, Jesus. It wasn't about all of that. He already prepared somebody to take care of you. He ain't say, if you don't pay me $5,000, I'm not going to Miami. What? That ain't what God said. You on assignment? He said, go. When you get there, there's a widow woman that's waiting for you. When you go there, it's somebody waiting for you. How do they know it's me? They know it's you. the light gonna shine. Something about you, they're gonna know. So all I need you to do is go, Jason. Go. When you get there, you'll find out the rest. But all I need you to do is go, obey my instructions, do what I asked you to do, and you will get the rewards. And that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. It's it's not rocket science to understanding the trust of having faith in God. You got to know that this is what He called you to do. And people, I've had artists and young people say, "Man, I don't know when it's going to be my time." I just like, listen, you looking at it the wrong way. You need to prepare yourself, and then if that elevation doesn't come when you think it should come, that means you weren't ready for it yet. You know what I mean? There was times in my ministry life, I was like, oh, this is the time. Oh, I'm ready. Oh my God, this is it. When I got nominated for a Grammy, I was like, oh, it's over. It's go time. Walked down the red carpet. Kim Kardashian's mom looked at me and told me I was fly. She didn't know I had on a Target suit that I just got tailored really well. You know, I just knew it. I knew it was, but it wasn't. I thought, but it was. For He says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, and I know the end. I know it. So you might think you know, but it's what He knows and how He wants to do what He does.
So I was talking to my mom maybe a month ago, and I was having, you had those moments sometimes when you're a trailblazer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it before. I never done this before. So, you have moments like, is people watching? Are they listening? Are they getting what I'm doing? And, I was like, I'm about, I don't know about this. And so she said, do you hear yourself when you start the show? And I said, yeah, it's coming out of me. She said, when it comes to ministry, it hits you first before it goes abroad. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And she said, you say you believe in 6 degrees of separation, right? And it only takes one person, one idea, one thing away from where you need to be in your destiny. And when it comes to the artists, the people that comes on, literally we're 6 degrees of separation from each other. Somebody
Yeah.
in my circle know you, and then we come on and we have a conversation. You recommend me to somebody else, and here we
Mm-hmm.
are having a whole full conversation. They get to say what they can't say maybe on a different platform. I want you to tell your story. I want you to tell us how you made it over. It's called testimony. Then here we are. We tell it. You don't look like what you've been through. I don't either.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
looking at a COVID survivor. You're looking at somebody that used to be suicidal, that went through divorce and all these things. And no, I don't look like
Yeah.
what I've been through, but you wouldn't know that unless I told you. So here I
Right.
am, being God saying, I need you to be a connector. You always been doing it. Now you have a show to do it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
connecting you to people that may have never heard of Jason.
That's right.
Atmosphere changer. Never heard men sometimes even give God glory, period.
Right.
I am definitely an advocate of changing the stigma of Black men.
Yeah.
Yes, I know several who take care of their children, who love God, who's doing it. They're not out here killing and stealing. So
Yeah.
when I have them on here, yes, you're going to see everything. Because what the media always does is show you the negative. No, I'm about positive because my father is positive. My
That's
father
right.
wants to be happy. Our father wants us to survive and tell somebody else how to make it through so you don't have to keep hitting your head. No.
Right.
So when I'm here and I'm talking to Jason Clayborn and he said he the atmosphere changer, that the atmosphere has already changed. I don't have to be in your presence room to room for the atmosphere to change.
Right.
We're actually on the same wavelength with our Father. The relationship that we have with our Father, now has totally connected. Come
Yeah.
on. And the atmosphere has changed. Now we
Yeah.
can have a decent conversation about how good God is, how he
Yeah.
saved us for this purpose on this day, the day before Halloween, that God is still God.
Still God, and he's gonna do it and do what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. He's waiting on us to get in line with his flow. You know what I mean? And we don't want to be like the children of Israel running around 40 years where it only should have took them, a couple of days to get to where they was trying to go. So it's very, very important that, you do what you can and allow God to move and do what he does in your life.
Yes, I'm so excited. I am happy for you. I am happy
Thank you.
for um, the progress that I have heard today. Even though it took us a minute to get to this point, but however it was done, I am totally grateful at all times, because you don't owe me anything. You don't have to do this. And for, again, we've never met in person. But I just thank God that he allowed us this moment to talk.
Well, we connected forever now. So,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
So,
And I just feel that this is what the kingdom is supposed to be. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be here and connected and moving like this. Somebody told me, man, you talk to the people that follow you. I do. You know what I mean? Of course you got some people that'll go try, but I try to keep connected and let people know that you got to be reachable like Jesus was. You got to be reachable. And so I love this, and I love what you're doing. And I speak blessings over you and this whole movement that you got going on.
thank you. I appreciate it. Again, I want everyone to look Jason Clayborn up on YouTube, on all social media platforms. Please support. That's what the kingdom needs. Support, not only in your mouth, not in your nodding and things of that nature. We need finances. Come on now. We need to push the kingdom forward. Is several places around the world that we know the word says that Jesus is not going to return until every man has had a chance. Every man has heard the good news. And this is what we're about. So today
Yes.
we have understood that Jason Clayborn is about spreading God's good news. And that in that moment, when you hear the good news, you have no choice but allow the atmosphere to change. So thank you again. I hope and pray that you enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank
Thank
you.
you again for coming through. And I speak blessings on you. I know for a fact that God is going to use you, not only because of that, but because of your faithfulness to him. And he has proven himself over and over again. And for the millions and millions, as I had Travis Malloy on last weekend, the millions and trillions and billions, not only in finances, but your people, your reach is going further because you're being faithful, and God is going to continue to blow your mind. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you all. And we got an album out right now called God Made It Beautiful. You can go grab it, Jason Clayborn and the Atmosphere Changes. I have another album that just dropped a couple of weeks ago with a friend of mine named Stephen McWhirter. It's called Highest Praise. So you can go grab that now as well. And I got songs you hear me everywhere. Ricky Dillard's new single just dropped this past Friday, and I wrote half of it with my boy Brian Bosley. And so you hear my footprint, around the industry on a regular basis. So thank you all. You can follow us on all our social medias, Jason Clayborn and the Atmosphere Changes. We would love to be a part of your ministries or come wherever you see fit or wherever God leads us.
Praise the Lord. So again, thank you guys. Please like and share the video. And again, this was an awesome conversation. And I will see you soon.
See you.